Good morning. Let's get ready for the day together. And first things first, ignore my hair. I'm letting the curls sit before I brush them out. We are currently getting ready for one of the craziest things that I have ever done in my entire life. And while I have no idea how much I'm actually allowed to say, I haven't really been told the rules for the most part. Let me give you a little background into the way I grew up. I'll let you guys guess the puzzle pieces that go along with it. Most of you know that I grew up with a single mom. My dad was extremely absent, but with that, I had two of the best grandparents in the entire world. For a good portion of my life, I lived with my grandparents, and that developed one of the closest relationships. But growing up as a young kid, I was super, super close with my grandpa. I have always been super interested in medical documentaries, like anything medical related. I've always been super interested in watching them. And truthfully, up until my grandpa passed away, which might sound weird because I was in 8th grade, he had this like classic old white leather rocking chair, and I would sit in it with him. And he would watch specifically Trauma Life in the ER on TLC.
Talking about Papa Jim?
Yes. I mean, most of the time he was watching the stock market, but he knew if I came in and sat with him, we would be watching a medical documentary. My grandpa grew up calling me Dr. Kate because he was so convinced that I was going to grow up to be a doctor. However, in my mind growing up, I was going to be a really famous actress. In the winter of 8th grade, my grandpa was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. As most of you know that have been here for a while, this is exactly the reason why I decided I wanted to be a nurse. The nurses were so good to him. But beyond that, the nurses were so good to my family. And you could just tell that they genuinely cared about what they were doing and wanted to be there for people that were literally going through their absolute worst times of their life. My grandpa was in and out of the hospital for the remainder of his life, but ultimately decided that he wanted to pass away at home, which led us down the hospice route. And those nurses are a whole other form of angelic. I can't even imagine. My grandpa only lived 29 days after he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, which is horrific. But also he was cared for by some of the best people. And I had wanted to be a nurse